If you're watching this video right now, you're probably stuck on Google Ads and you just can't scale past 10K per month. Now, this is a very common death zone for a lot of brands that they simply can't get past because it requires totally different structure and strategy to lower stages of spend and lower stages of revenue. So today I'm going to walk you through the main problems, the reasons why most accounts get stuck at this very level of spend, and exactly how to break through and reach the higher levels of spend profitably in your Google Ads account to get to 100K plus per month, $1 million plus per month in spend, possibly if you execute everything correctly and have the right systems in place. So let's get right into it. First of all, why do most accounts plateau at 10K in spend? There are a few very, very common reasons. One, honestly, the most common one probably, is that accounts have a single campaign with no structure. This is the most common structure I see on Google Ads, is a single campaign. And truthfully, it's not a real structure. It's not something that you can sustainably run for almost any brand unless you are brand new with zero branded traffic. At the very least, you should have at least a branded campaign and a non-branded campaign. And if you are a bigger brand, then you should have a lot more than just those two. Now, goes without saying, you need multiple campaigns on Google Ads. I'm sure you understand that. Google will waste your budget freely if you don't have the right setup. And this is what happens in so many people's accounts. They have the wrong setup. They're spending, 7, 8K a month, but most of that money is just going down the drain because you're giving it all to Google and letting Google do whatever it wants. And as a result, as soon as you pump up spend, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't result in any additional revenue because Google's just wasting it on opportunities that aren't actually getting you more revenue. Number 3 is there's no real media buying applied. So Google actually does require genuine media buying still. Meta ads, although there is a media buying aspect to it, it doesn't require as much media buying as it used to in the past, and it doesn't require as much as Google. Google is a very media buying heavy platform. It requires you to be making consistent changes based on the data and based on what's happening in the account. So if you are just kind of letting it cruise and not doing anything on Google week to week, day to day, checking consistently, analyzing, iterating, you're not going to succeed. Your account is going to probably fall off the rails and stop performing if you just let it go for weeks and weeks unchecked. And unlike Meta, Google does require a very structured layout. Now, Meta is a lot more forgiving in that it is so dependent on creatives that you can kind of just throw heaps of creatives out there and it will give you a result if you've got good creatives. Whereas on Google, if you try to do the same thing, you're not going to get any results. If you just start a bunch of sporadic campaigns with okay ad copy, nothing will happen. You need to make sure your targeting and your structuring all works very well in the context of your account and your business. So, what is the problem number 1 that we're going to cover here? The most common problem probably, or one of the most common problems, one of the 3 most common problems. Number 1 is zero targeting constraints. So this is what I see in so many accounts, so many. They simply go broad as can be. They have nothing constraining what Google should show ads on, what they're paying for, what clicks they're getting, and what customers they're targeting. The reason that they have zero targeting constraints, or the most common cases, are when they have one PMax campaign doing absolutely everything. Once again, the single campaign structure does not allow for effective segregation of traffic. And it means that you are just going to be targeting absolutely everyone and anyone. And as you probably know, if you market to everyone, you market to no one. You need to make sure that you have a clear customer in mind and you are targeting them effectively. No product and keyword separation. Once again, if you have a single campaign, or even if you have multiple campaigns, but they're all targeting the same keywords, the same products, and there's no effective separation or segregation between them, you're not going to be able to figure out what actually works, and you're not going to be able to scale because Google's just going to allocate everywhere. You're going to see spend going in and some level of return coming up, but not the return you want. And it's because you aren't separating the products and keywords that are working. Google allocates spend however it wants. We've already covered this, but Google isn't very good at giving spend to the right things. So if you let it run wild and just optimize in any direction, if you have an enormous amount of conversion data and you're using automated bidding, you can sometimes see success. But in most accounts, if you just let Google allocate spend however it wants, it's going to allocate inefficiently. It's probably going to waste your money. No ability to identify winners on product or keyword themes. So you simply can't tell when you have winning products or winning keywords in an account if you don't have the right structure and if you're targeting absolutely everyone. You don't have enough data to identify what angles you need to properly invest in and lean into to get the higher performance. So the fix here is to split into bestsellers and testing campaigns. This is the ideal structure on Google, no matter what you're doing. If you have a best-selling product, a best-selling service, a best-selling angle, lean into that, allocate your budget to that preferentially, and then have testing campaigns to test your other services, products, or offers, because that is going to be the best way to allocate your budget efficiently and not just go broad and let Google do all the work for you and inevitably fail. Problem number 2 is budget bleeding into existing customers. Now, this is the second most common, but still incredibly common, especially in brands that already have some existing traffic, existing revenue, existing customers, right? In a lot of accounts, 90% of their spend is going towards remarketing. As you can see here, we create branded campaigns for this purpose, but a lot of accounts don't have a branded campaign, and 90% of their spend within their what they think is a new customer campaign is actually just going towards people who already know about them. And so it's not effectively acquiring any new customers at all. A high T ROAS forces Google toward easy conversions. This is another thing that I often see, which is actually a little bit less common, but still something that occurs quite often, is when people go into a Google Ads account and they say, man, I'd love to get a 500% ROAS right now. So they naturally pump up their ROAS, their T ROAS rather, to 500%, when realistically they can only achieve about a 3x, or they're only achieving a 3x at the moment. As a result, Google goes, oh, okay, well, I better get a 5x. Who's going to give me a 5x ROAS? People who already know about you, people who have gone to your page but not converted, people who are searching for your brand name. These are easy conversions, but they're not new customers. And so when you set this high T ROAS, it forces Google to lean into these easy conversions, and it prevents you from getting new customers. Your new customer acquisition becomes entirely starved, and you're not actually allocating any funds or budget towards new customers when you have these issues in the account, which means the ROAS looks great, but your business doesn't actually grow. So as you've probably seen, this is the issue that most brand owners face on Google when they get to this level of spend, is it says maybe they're spending 7K and they've got a 10x return, but when they pump that up to 15K, there's no additional revenue. Google still says they're getting a 10x return, but the actual revenue in the business doesn't grow. So all that money is producing this kind of fake return on Google, which happens when you're just reinvesting into the same customers over and over again. The fix here is new customer bidding and branded campaign controls. So if you create a branded campaign and you force all of your branded traffic into this branded campaign, you place negative keywords on your new customer campaigns, you place exclusions on your new customer campaigns, that'll prevent any branded traffic from coming into new customer campaigns, and it'll push it all towards your branded campaigns, which is exactly how you want to do things, because then you have very clear siloed attribution between existing customers and new customers. Now, when you also want to set up new customer bidding, this is another setting you can use in order to target new customers preferentially. Within your campaigns, there's a setting you can turn on under your targeting settings called bid more for new customers or something along those lines. You can increase your bids to lean into new customers. Now, the efficacy of this setting in particular is sort of hit and miss on Google. It works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes, but it can't hurt you if you're trying to approach new customers and target new customers. Applying this new customer bidding modifier, this bid modifier on your campaign can be very helpful. Next up is letting Google decide what scales. This is problem number 3. And we've already kind of touched on this lightly, but what happens when you let Google control the account? Well, your high performing products are underfunded. So the products that are getting you all of the revenue and all of the sales and really high conversion rates don't get enough spend, because Google doesn't really know how to allocate funds effectively across different products. So it just kind of spends money however it likes. And some products you'll see have a really high conversion rate and very little spend going towards it. What we need to do is push them into their own campaigns. We'll get to that in a bit though. High performing keywords buried in broad campaigns. So you might have a broad match campaign with 100 keywords that just goes spray and pray across probably every single keyword in the universe. And naturally, high performers within that campaign aren't getting enough spend, because there are thousands of potential search terms that you could be showing on, probably millions. And how are you meant to focus on the high performing ones when you're not nailing down into them? And Google has millions of options of keywords to bid on. It just simply won't work. And then your winning angles are never isolated. So not only keywords and products go underfunded, but angles as well. Now you'll notice when you look at keyword groupings, you'll see that specific angles of the products tend to perform better than others. Let's say you sell a skincare product that just, it's a moisturizer that hydrates skin. You may find that searches for anti-wrinkle skin moisturizer perform better, like the group of searches perform better than anti-acne skin moisturizer, for example, right? Let's say you do both of these things with the product. Both the product does anti-acne and anti-wrinkles, but the anti-wrinkles performs better. Now, what you would want to do then is lean into this anti-wrinkles angle, create new landing pages, create new offers, create new campaigns to target it. But you'll never see them if you let Google allocate its own spend across hundreds of keywords, because you won't be able to find these angles. Google optimizes for its own efficiency and not yours. This is another big one. I mean, at the end of the day, Google wants you to spend more money. They don't really care if you're getting revenue. If you're getting revenue, cool. If not, cool. They still get the money, right? They just want your ad spend. So often it will just go balls to the wall and spend as much as it can on a lot of campaigns without actually getting any results when you aren't segregating effectively in the campaigns. The fix here is manually identifying and pushing winners into dedicated campaigns. So like I said, when you find something that's performing well, here's an example, right? You can see this is the products tab. We've got all the products listed here. This product is performing at a 37x return. Although the spend is low, it still had 6 conversions, which is pretty significant. And it's getting a 37x ROAS, while most other products are getting a 5, 1.5, 3.9. This product should be given its own campaign, or it should at least be put into a bestsellers campaign, because clearly it needs more spend to figure out if it will continue performing at this rate at a higher level of spend. If it can get 6 conversions from $10, imagine how many conversions it could get from 100, potentially 60, right? But we don't know that. So we need to push it into a campaign and test. And if it does perform well, great, give it even more money, and your ROAS is going to be astronomically higher than if you never allocated any additional funds to this product. So here are the actionable items, apart from, first of all, manually identifying and pushing winners into dedicated campaigns. So manually basically optimizing for your high performers, and then fixing your new customer and branded separation. And then also, again, splitting into bestsellers and testing overall, and ensuring you have a genuine structure. Here are a few other things that you can do as well. So the path to 10K and beyond, how do we get to beyond this death zone where a lot of brands get stuck? Well, you need a structured campaign architecture. You need all of your campaigns working together. Like we've already alluded to, you need brand campaigns, non-brand campaigns, bestseller campaigns, and testing campaigns, right? These are the kind of broad strokes of what you need. You need to be covering all your branded traffic, all your non-branded traffic, and then within non-branded traffic, you need to be focusing on bestsellers and testing so you can allocate your funds preferentially. Now, make sure that your budget allocation decisions are made by you and not Google, right? You want to be controlling where the budget flows. If you know something's going to perform well, give it more spend. Don't let Google try and do it itself, because it probably won't succeed. Track your new customer ROAS, not just your in-platform ROAS. Now, Google will often show you a really high in-platform ROAS, which may not be accurate. In some cases it is accurate, but in a lot of cases it's heavily inflated by branded traffic. So you usually want to use a tool like TripleWell or Hyros, or any of these kind of additional tools that can help you track third-party data. They can track new customer metrics and a lot of other kind of attribution breakdowns cross-platform. Now, they're not perfect. These third-party platforms aren't perfect, but they're very helpful in making decisions on what actually is helping you scale. And beyond that as well, you need to be tracking your overall MER. So you want to be watching how MER changes with more investment in the platform, and all those high-level metrics that give you a clear picture of genuine new customer acquisition and incrementality. Google rewards structure with scale. So if you have a good structure, if you have a structure that clearly identifies bestsellers, testing, non-brand, brand, you will be able to scale. You will be able to push more money into it. And if you have a good product as well, of course, goes without saying, you always need a good product, but you will be able to push beyond this boundary, because your money will stop flowing into poor performing products. It'll stop flowing into branded traffic. It'll preferentially go for new customers, and it will preferentially go towards bestsellers. And that's what you need to do. And accounts with the right setup can regularly hit 50K, 200K, even $1 million plus per month. I've seen it happen multiple times before. You just need the right setup, the right product, and the right market. Now, what are the kind of hacks or tricks that you can use to expand beyond this 10K mark? There are a few higher level things you can do, and these will help you break through that ceiling and get to 100K plus in spend per month at potentially a 10x ROAS, which is great. And again, this is slightly inflated, but still incredible results of 100K spend per month. Now, demand gen and YouTube ads. This is a really big one. Once you get to this level about 10K spend, you can definitely start testing with demand gen and YouTube ads. These are the most scalable campaign types, but They're also the hardest campaign types to scale because they typically run at the lowest ROAS and they have the lowest intent traffic. They're very, very top of funnel. So you need to make sure that you have a lot of creative. You need video creatives that are designed for YouTube, designed for the horizontal format, the more high intent format than Meta, in saying, although it is top of funnel, low intent for Google, it's higher intent than Meta because you often have people searching for specific things and they're looking for videos on specific things, and you can show them a targeted ad at that point. Your creative needs to be optimized for the platform, long form, kind of longer form, horizontal form, and you can also use shorts as well, but they typically don't perform as well as standard horizontal YouTube ads. Top of funnel awareness as well. So it just increases the size of your funnel. When you start to cap out on traffic, you'll eventually find that you'll cap out on bottom of funnel, middle of funnel traffic through your PMAX, search, shopping, all that stuff. And the only way to keep moving up the funnel is with video ads, or potentially using top funnel search. We'll get to that in a moment though. And you reach people before they search. So once again, this is expanding to basically problem unaware audiences. These are people who are not searching for a problem. They're not searching for a solution. They're not searching for anything yet. They're just scrolling through or watching a video. And then you jump out and you say, hey, you should buy this product. It's essentially what you're doing on these YouTube ads. You can also do remarketing with YouTube ads, but that is not the main point that we're discussing here. We're trying to discuss how to expand the funnel and move further up the funnel. Top of funnel and middle funnel search ads. This is another one you can deploy. So basically it lets you move further up the funnel outside of that really high intent traffic. You can go for problem-based searches. So once again, imagine you're selling a skincare product. It's a moisturizer again. Now, you can either target someone who's searching for moisturizer, they're ready to buy it right now, or you can target someone who's searching for how to get rid of wrinkles. Very different, right? Someone who's searching for how to get rid of wrinkles, they haven't necessarily picked a product yet. They haven't necessarily even know that they need a product. They're just kind of looking for a solution. Now, if you give them a really high quality page, you drive them to a page and you show them why they need your moisturizer for their wrinkles, you could get a sale, right? And that's what you want to be targeting, these problem-based searches. Also, competitor traffic. So if you have competitors who have an inferior product to you, you can run ads on their brand name. So you can basically target their brand name, show an ad, and show users why you're a better choice. And if you have a really compelling argument, they'll come over and buy from you instead. People not yet searching for your brand. So once again, these are the people who don't know about your brand. They haven't heard about you ever before. They may not have even thought about your product or know about your product, but they are interested in buying because they have some level of intent. Now, the hack for getting success on both top of funnel, middle funnel search ads and demand gen YouTube ads, which is going to increase your conversion rate astronomically, is purpose-built landing pages. You need to make sure that you have landing pages that are directly aligned with your ads and your targeting. So if you're running top of funnel, middle funnel search ads, you need to make sure that you build a landing page that is directly aligned with the problem. So once again, someone's searching for how to get rid of wrinkles. You create a landing page that walks the user through every single reason why your product is so good at getting rid of wrinkles and exactly how it works. And then you give them something like a 7-day money back guarantee. If it doesn't work, we give you your money back, right? And then by the end of that page, they're thinking, wow, why would I not buy this right now? This is a no-brainer offer. You need to make sure your landing pages have a no-brainer offer and they are directly aligned with your messaging. If you have another ad that's maybe targeting people searching how to get rid of acne, you need to create a new landing page that walks user through, tells them why your product's so great, all the features for it. And the best part is you can use AI to create these landing pages nowadays, and it takes you 5 minutes, literally 5-10 minutes. You tell AI something like Manus or Claude Code, you say, hey, I need a landing page for this ad that covers this intent and this angle, this kind of customer, make it high converting, make it advertorial style, comparison style, whatever it may be. And also for competitor traffic, same thing. You can create these landing pages that compare you against a competitor, right? So let's say you bid in a competitor's brand name, the user clicks your ad, they come through to your website, you have a page that clearly compares why you are better than the competitor. It's going to be a no-brainer for them once again. If you give them plenty of reasons why they should convert, it makes it so much easier. Same thing with YouTube as well. You want to align your landing pages with your YouTube ads. You can do this on Meta too, right? If you have a YouTube ad that leans into the angle of wrinkle removal or acne removal, you need to make sure that the landing page that these users are driven to is exactly aligned with the messaging of that ad. This is the new way to run Google Ads at scale, at volume. You must have full alignment through the funnel. Gone are the days of just running an ad and sending them to the product page. There's not enough alignment there, and it's going to not convert at the rate you need for profitability. But if you have these purpose-built landing pages, you can massively increase your conversion rate. No, it's not your homepage. It's designed for cold traffic. It matches the ad angle exactly. That's a very, very important part, arguably the most important part, matches the ad angle. And it's advertorial style for top of funnel. So advertorial style just means You're basically walking people through exactly why your product is great and you're educating them throughout the way. And that is exactly how you can break through the plateau of 10K per month spend on Google. Where are we? 10K per month spend. This is the death zone. This is where so many brands get stuck, but it's absolutely possible to break out of this level and get to 100K plus per month in spend, get to $1 million plus per month in spend. And all you have to do is just focus on these few things. If you get them right, I assure you, you will make it to the level of 100K plus per month in spend. However, if you just watched this video and you thought, wow, that's way too much, I don't want to do that myself, I don't have the time to do that myself, that's okay, because we can help you do it. If you are a 7-figure brand or making 7 figures or more with your business and you need some help on Google Ads, please feel free to reach out, book a call with me down below. We'd be more than happy to help you and walk you through exactly how you could set up a system like this in your account, or we'll just build it for you. But yeah, feel free to book a call down below if you're interested. Otherwise, feel free to leave any video requests in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.